All right. Hey, y'all. This is Lindsay with Find Fearless Coaching. And I want to welcome you to an exciting new project, an interview series I've created called A Fearless Life. And I am so excited today to introduce you to my very first guest. Dear friend and inspiration, Denisha Randle. She
Hi,
is living out
girl.
in LA. She's the creator of Charlie Ray, which is a lifestyle brand designed for women who love style. She's also a creative, a business owner, a daughter, a mother, and just a magical human altogether.
So
She's incredible.
beautiful. Oh my God.
Hi,
Thank you.
Denisha. Thank you so much
Yay!
for being here. I could not be more excited to have you.
Thank you so much. It is an honor to be your first guest. Like, you are such an amazing person, and working with you is just oh so exciting. I loved it. You were literally the ray of sunshine, and and good vibes, and it was just always a great time. So I'm so excited for you and your journey.
Thanks, girl. Oh my gosh. All right, let's kick this off, shall we?
Okay, let's go.
All right. So, can you just start by providing us with like a little snapshot of your journey over the years and how you've gone or how you've grown to where you are today?
Oof. Okay, I'm going to try to keep this as short and concise and sweet as possible. Okay, so I started off with the dream of designing, actually. I attended FITM, received an AA in communications because I couldn't draw and I couldn't draw. I can't draw. I'll say I'm not the best, illustrator when it comes to that. And so I just went ahead and went through with communications. So that encompassed styling, drafting, space design, um, visual merchandising, all, that whole, the whole gamut, marketing, all that. Then I worked as a stylist, as a fashion stylist on, fashion shows, photo shoots, music videos, movies. 9/11 happened and everything slowed down. So then I fell back on my visual merchandising degree and worked as a visual, merchandiser. Did that for a couple of years, a lot of years. And then I decided to be a publicist, a journalist. And
Woo!
so I received
Blessing.
my I received my BA in journalism with an emphasis in public relations. And so my dream job, I remember my professor, one thing I learned from her is to be a forever learner.
Mm.
And because, you continue to learn, you continue to grow. You stop learning, you stop growing. And so she gave me, she was very supportive, helped me with just boosting my confidence and being a strong writer. And I decided I wanted to work for a nonprofit. So I worked for a nonprofit for I volunteered for about 2 years, possibly. And stayed with them for about 8, doing community relations. And then I decided to get a master's degree in public relations. Um, couldn't find a job after that. After all those, 50 degrees later, couldn't find a job, which was so weird to me, but I didn't understand the world was changing, you know.
Yeah.
They talked about the millennials and how they weren't loyal and they would go from job to job. And I'm raised in between that baby boom and in between that and the millennials, where uh, I forgot what my generation, Gen X, Gen Z,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's been it.
One of those. I'm not that young, so I'm not trying to say that I am, because I'm not. Um, but just understanding that the world was changing, and it wasn't that era where you were super loyal to companies like that, because they weren't being that loyal to you. And then just being constantly told no. So again, I fell back on my merchandising degree, landed a job, again a job I love, because I'm led by my heart. And so I don't take jobs that I'm not happy with, or I'm not going to be happy, because you spend too much time at work. um ended up working there, got my master's degree, and I didn't like the treatment, so I went ahead and dissolved that relationship. It was very abusive, and I think I just got angry. I was getting turned down for interviews that I was clearly qualified for, and I just kept hearing, "Oh, well, you're not qualified enough for this." And I'm like, you know, I was looking at 15 years in the game by then in journalism and like public relations, and I think I just got mad and said, you know what, if I'm just gonna create my own table. And here I am. This is Charlie Ray was born out of this fire and um this this thing in me. I get the words are tip of my tongue, but this resilience that you're gonna keep telling me no, and I'm not. I started to take it personally, and it was like it's not it's not personal. It's let me put me first. Let me I work so hard trying to help these other companies and and get their names and make them money. Let me do my own thing. Let me create my own table. So that's how Charlie Ray was pretty much born. So here I am, fighting, to really ensure that I'm a good role model for my son. That even when the door's shut and they tell you no, that you always have an option to make it for yourself.
Oh, that just gave me chills. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. Hey, can you, before we jump into the next question, can you just tell us a little bit about what Charlie Ray is altogether and what your role is? Like, I know you're the company owner, but you're also the designer too, right?
Right. And so I am the designer, the stylist, the marketer, the publicist,
Oh
the
yeah. Go
merchandiser.
figure.
I honestly I do it all, and I don't do it to perfection. I don't think anyone does, but we definitely try. And it's such a learning curve. I've worked in fashion, particularly merchandising, for over 25 years. So most people don't know that, but I started off working at this shoe store, this really popular shoe store, at the age of 16. So I've been working since I was 16 years old. And so I'm somewhat of an expert when it comes to, customer relations and being on the sales floor and, landing the deal in the fitting room and just really going on that journey with the guests from the time they walk in to the time that they walk out. Like I said, I've worked for some pretty, top brand names and even helped them open their stores. So okay, I'm sorry, repeat the question. I just got lost
Oh
for a
no,
second.
just what, altogether, like, what is Charlie Ray
Oh,
and
you're right. Okay, I'm so sorry. I went somewhere else. I'm back. I'm back. That's the Sag in me, guys. That's the Sag in me. Um, so Charlie Ray is a lifestyle brand, and it is meant to style women in their everyday life, their everyday journey. I believe that fashion is self-expression. It's all art. It's how we relate our emotions and how like how we feel that day. We want to go and we want to be that badass chick, go and kick some butt. There's a vibe to it. There's a lipstick to it. There's a hairstyle to it. You know what I mean? There's that way to exude yourself in the confidence that you have and what you expect to get from that day, or excuse me, what you're going to take from that day, because no one gives you anything. Another thing I try to teach myself: no one's going to give you anything. I can honestly, I fought for a lot um to be where I am, and had to shut down, especially male bosses. And I'm not bashing. I'm just saying that, just as women, especially if you're a single woman, you have to be a little bit more assertive and a little more firm, because you can get brushed off. And another woman honestly can do you that way as well. So it's not a gender thing. But Charlie Ray was developed out of my love for clothes. And I'm a I'm a full figured woman. So I don't always find the things that fit me. And there's nothing more disappointing. Like I don't shop for jeans for that purpose. Is it trying to find jeans for a small waist woman with, hips and thighs and butt and all that. It can get frustrating. So I'm really working on the structure of the garment and the fit of it. The fit is so important. You want to walk in and the way it looks on the mannequin, it may not fit like that, but it's going to fit you and give you that boost of confidence. So that's kind of what Charlie Ray is. So if you're going, from a play date, from the office, to get drinks with your girls, or from you going on vacation, I have things that will take you from the airport, straight to the beach. So it's just kind of all encompassing, like it's a lifestyle. That's basically what Charlie Ray is.
Beautiful. Thanks, girl. That's
Of
awesome.
course.
So, out of curiosity, we may have people watching who are trying to build a business themselves or just trying to build a life of their dreams. And what did your process look like from moving from that idea phase of Charlie Ray to the action phase?
That was what it was motivation. It
Mm,
was it was righteous anger. It was um like enough. It was I don't have time to think about this because I gotta move. I've been dreaming about clothes for years. When am I gonna move on it? Screw it. Everything lined up, and it was just no way for me to say no. They always say when you put your intentions out there into the universe, and I believe that, and I believe in God, and I believe that it's an energy and it's a faith. Faith is action. Okay, you do what you have faith for. It's all, that's why the word says it's according to your faith. It's according to your faith. How are you going to walk? How are you going to move in this world? And so what you do is according to how you think in your heart, what you have in your heart for yourself. And I allowed people to put their opinions and feelings on me, and I carried it like it was my own, when that's not the truth. And it was just like, wait a minute, what do I say about me? What does God say about me? And he doesn't say any of those things. And even if some of those ugly things may be true, they don't know the entire story. You get one pixel of an entire picture and judge on that. And so I had to stop leaning on their understanding of me, and lean on God. And so that was what the process looked like. Like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. And through the whole process, I was like, Lord, I don't know, what am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know how to do this. But it was just like, but I got to do it. That's why they say do it scared anyway. You know what I mean?
I'm laughing because I literally say that once every day. I don't know what the heck I'm doing right now. I'm just doing it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna
I'm
put
just gonna
it out
do
there.
it.
I don't know what's
Exactly.
gonna happen.
I don't know what's
I
gonna
love
happen.
that. So I'm
Exactly.
not alone in like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I
I'm
don't
just
know what I'm doing. And guess what? It's okay. It's
yeah,
okay not to know what you're doing. I had to like literally step back and say, you know what? It's okay I'm not posting every day. It's okay that I don't have this all together with all these degrees. That pressure of, well, you got all these degrees, why aren't you doing it? You know so much, why aren't you doing? And then I just created this pressure that was unnecessary, because I was like, it's my company. It's okay. Again, taking on that energy from old companies, old bosses, just, oh, you're not moving fast enough. You're not doing this right. You're not doing, and then, yeah, so that was the process. Just that faith that, I don't know what I'm doing, but apparently this is the road I'm supposed to. I've tried to walk away from this path so many times. And I feel like that's why none of those other jobs worked out the way I wanted them to, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have landed here. And this is my purpose. This is where I'm supposed to be.
yes. So would you say if you don't know what to do, just start doing something?
Yes.
Take action.
One foot, just do that one thing. For me, that one thing is, uh, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, well, what can you do? start making a list of things you can do.
Yeah.
What can I do? Oh, okay. Well, let me start interviewing manufacturers. Let me start looking at the cost to see, you know what I mean? Let me start, looking at fabrics.
Mm.
Okay. Let me start create a vision board. I have a million magazines from a million years ago and flip through them, get inspiration, sketch it out, play around, even though no one else may know what that is, but I know that's a dress. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think it's just about moving,
Yeah.
having the faith to take that first step, and then having the faith to take the next step. And
Yeah.
before you know it, you're walking or you're crawling. You know what I mean? That first move. So I think it's you're going to be scared because we're often scared of the unknown.
Mhm.
So just moving and doing some research. Maybe your first step is just doing some research. Read a book on a business plan, or researching um the lay of the land, and figure out, okay, what's happening in business, what is popular, what's the need, find the need, what is the need, and move from there and see if it lines up with your heart.
Mm. Love that. Lines up with your heart. So perfect.
Your heart, yay.
So, what are some of the biggest fears and challenges you've had to face along this journey of yours?
I mean, being a boss sounds great on paper, right? Owning a business, you're doing big things. They make it look so magical, on Instagram, and it can be very lonely. It can be very frustrating. Um, it's the fear of not knowing, that unknown factor of, you don't know what to expect. What if you fail? But like Coco Chanel said, but what if you fly? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think my biggest fear was just owning a business. It was just something in my heart to do. It was like, God was like, you're gonna own your own business. I was like, no, no, I don't want to do that. Nope, that sounds scary. Nah, not
Yep.
doing it. I ran for years
Yeah.
until finally it was just
Wow.
like
Mm.
2018. Was it 2018? Yeah. I filed the paperwork, and it's like, yeah, it's time, because I couldn't continue to feel like a failure because the places I worked didn't see my talent, didn't honor my talent,
Yeah.
um, and wasn't. And, I'm a that could partly be my fault, but I think I'm just a believer that that's just not where I was supposed to be, so I don't lay, like, blame on them. But at that time, that was my thought process, like, "Why am I not good enough? Why can't I keep a job? Or why aren't these jobs working out? Why something is always going wrong?" And I'm looking at me like, "Okay, well, I coulda did that better." Because I always look at me first. I don't put blame on anyone. I look at what could I have done differently, you know, so I just believe that this was just where that's what I had to go through to get to this point where I was angry enough to say, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna jump. And so I jumped, and of course God never let me hit the ground.
I love that. My statement was, I'm tired of working for other people's dreams. It's time
Yes.
for my own dream. And, I'm working at it. I'm
I
not
love it. I am
succeeding
so
just
uber
so I'd
proud of
love
you.
to hear your story too, like
Thank
it's like just
you.
tired of, or not tired, but you get to that point where it's not working and it's not working anywhere and you wonder why. And it's really because you're meant to work for yourself and
Oh,
live your own
yep,
dream and work for your own dream and put all your energies there rather than into other
exactly.
people. So I love that. Awesome. So when it comes to challenges, uncertainty, change, do you have any tools or tactics or strategies that you really use in your life to navigate those things?
Um, okay, repeat the question again.
So, when it comes to challenges, uncertainty, I know you spoke of God earlier and like your
Yeah.
spirituality and your connection there, but like when it comes to challenges, uncertainty, change, things with like the COVID that's happened and the year of 2020 and just the uncertainty with business and change living in LA and what that's been like, do you have any tools or tactics or strategies that you can share when it comes to that, just to navigating the challenges and the uncertainty overall?
Okay, so I would say that turn the TV off. Sometimes you just have to, get off social media and turn the TV off and get quiet and get still.
Mm.
Um, Literally look at, you know, your fears in the face. Like, what are you afraid of? What, you know, because fear is the false evidence of appearing real. It's what fear is. Um, so it's not real. It's your overactive imagination. It's your fear of making a mistake, of the unknown, of falling on your face and or never amounting to it, or the fact that you're not where you think you should be at this particular age because they sold you a dream and told you. So one of my best friend told me you gotta unlearn to discern. And it the unlearning part is taking everything that you've learned as a child to adulthood and re-examining it and keeping what's worth keeping and letting go of what is not relevant anymore, because you go through these different phases of life, and then when you sometimes when you've been in that phase of surviving for so long. I kept seeing this post that said, look, you've lived in survival mode for so long, it's time to thrive. That takes a state of transition in your mind and your thought process, because you were just surviving and you're scratching and clawing, and then when the gates open up, you can't be locked down in your mind. So you got to free your mind. You have to constantly reevaluate the information that you get every single day, and whatever is not serving you for your higher purpose, you got to let that go because it's baggage. So those are things that I look at. I try to be as real as with myself as possible about how I feel about things and why do I feel about that. And it's self-care, understanding that, hey, maybe this is the day I lay in the bed all day and let my mind rest and let my body rest. When the COVID happened, I was, having just anxiety, like I couldn't sleep, and I was waking up in the middle of the night, with a racing heart, and it was just like, wait a minute, what am I afraid of? You know, what what can happen that is not going to be on God's timetable, and that's just where my faith is. The world could be burning down. Well, either way, me and God, we good, and he's always going to make sure I'm good even when it's not comfortable or it doesn't look right, doesn't feel good. So those are I read the Bible. I try to just be still and meditate because I'm a very busy person. I have to stay busy. I couldn't understand, laying there not doing anything when there's so much to do, but I didn't realize how much anxiety that was giving me because I always felt the need to do something. That's
Mm.
unhealthy. That
Yep.
is so unhealthy. I can't even remember how many times it says in the Bible to do not fear, do not worry.
Mhm.
So just practicing that and just calming your thoughts and really examine where did that thought come from. It's like, thoughts come, you can entertain them and say, okay, you can acknowledge them, but don't become them, because then that follows with you speaking it. You speak it, then you start to do it, because faith comes by hearing. So you got to be careful what you allow your eyes to see, because those are gates into your soul, right? And then you got to be careful what your mouth says, because then that becomes you bring that, you manifest that with your mouth, so just being careful, trying not to speak thoughts that are temporary. They're not They come, but you don't have to become them. So that's my thing. Just making sure that even if it's a negative thought, I say, okay, I can see how you feel that way, but that's not the truth. It's not
Acknowledging
the
it,
truth.
but no, that's not the truth.
That's not the
I
truth, you
still love
know?
you.
I still love you. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
And honestly, being able to not beat yourself up for I shouldn't be thinking like that or I shouldn't. No, you're
yeah,
human. You know,
exactly.
it's a
Mhm,
lot of stuff coming at us, especially with social media and all this technology.
mhm.
Everything is so immediate. You don't have time to stop and think like, whoa, should I be wait, you know? So I have to just slow myself down.
Mm, beautiful. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. That was brilliant.
Thank you.
So, what does a fearless, fabulous, and free life look and feel like to you?
Ah, well, it is it's healing, you know. It's taking the time to heal yourself, um, to accept yourself holistically in totality. It's saying that, yeah, I made some poor choices.
Mhm,
And it's not judging yourself with the understanding you have from today, from or judging yourself yesterday about, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I understand it today. Oh, I should have known better. No, it wasn't for you to know at that time. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I think when you are able to accept your flaws and all, you can't expect someone else to if you can't. I think it's a self check. I think it's saying, "Oh, okay, I could have did that better, but what did I learn from it? Because there's only lessons, there's not losses. You don't lose. It may feel that way, and that's the name that they give it, but it's not a loss. It's a lesson. What did you learn from it? So when it comes around again, how are you going to handle it? Because it's going to come back.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna come back.
It's gonna come back, and when you're able to handle it differently, that's how you know you're growing. And just doing everything out of motive of love. Um, and especially loving yourself and not in a selfish way, but just, understanding boundaries and then being able to love others. I grew up in a very loving family. We hugged, we laughed around the table, we broke bread. It's where I learned how to dance, and all my aunties and cousins and uncles and my grandparents. I mean, just I just grew up in a really loving family, and there's so much love that this world needs. This capitalism, and it's like, no, I really had to take a step back and look at my clothes like, oh my God, the world is going through this pandemic. The last thing I was thinking about was fashion. It was just like, well, how can I feel a need? How can I help? Even if it's getting your girls together, hey, checking on them, are you guys all right? Let's have a Zoom party. We did that at the beginning. Just making sure that we're good. Honestly, I've just never been driven by money. Um, just no. It's my motivation is love. You know, I tell my friends I love them all the time, and I do, and I love you guys, and I love you, Lindsay. I
Oh,
mean, that was just, you know what I mean? Like I this makes me feel so good. I mean,
yeah,
come on, the world's it's a shit show anyway. You might as well love on each other. You
yeah.
know, you gotta, man, you just, it's just, to me, it's about love, and it's about accepting yourself and being okay with saying, no, that's not for me, and being okay with it.
Mhm. I love you too. Yeah, Randall. Okay. Just to kind of, solidify the interview, and the final question here is, what is one piece of advice or little nugget of information, if you could choose anything along your experiences, your journey, that you could share with people about building a life or a business, and or a business of their dreams?
Um, Believing in yourself. That's something that I still, you know, I look at it's a challenge, and it's that I don't know what I'm doing factor, or I'm doing too much. There's so much to do, and then you feel like you're standing in front of a Mack truck, like, oh my God, do I go left? But I think really it's about believing in yourself, and being happy with who you are. And if you're not, then you start to figure out the changes that you need to make. You know, but speaking negatively about yourself is not good. I'm horrible at it, and I'm doing better. Actually, I'm improving. Okay, because I had to look at everything like, okay, well, that didn't work out the way I had hoped, and my intentions was this, but my actions maybe and I just started, I don't go over it to the point where I'm just like, stressing. I stopped doing that. I'm growing. I'm growing. But I think it's really about believing in yourself, and operating out of a love motive. But you have to love yourself first, and so I think just loving yourself, accepting yourself, taking time to do self care, read a book, polish your nails, get your nails done, whatever you need to do to get you in a place um, where you can be content, and then move from there, and take that first step. Maybe it's research, maybe it's a vision board. And then on top of that, like, yeah, just loving yourself,
Hmm.
self care.
All right, gorgeous Denisha. Thank you so much for your
Oh, thank
time and for
you.
everything. I so appreciate it. It's been
Oh, thank
so
you.
lovely having you, and I'm so excited you're my first guest.
Thank you so much for having me. I know I talk a lot, so I hope that helps. And honestly, just know you're not alone. Honestly, reaching out to people that care about you, and it's like you're not alone. We all go through these moments, especially with what's going on in the world, and trying to launch a business or run a business, especially if you're a small business, is pretty hectic. And it's okay to make mistakes, and just learn from it.
Awesome, gorgeous. All right. Bye.
Bye.